Live from Los Angeles, California. Welcome to Good Morning LaLa Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's, you guys. So we've got a great show in store for you. So if you are ready to say yes to the new year and to the universe, you want to listen and watch the show. We're going to go over reviewing our goals from 2017, and we're going to set some new goals, teach you how to kind of roll through that one. And then we've got all kinds of great guests and content for you. So I'm super excited.
Super excited. We are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles, for 2 hours this morning on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on Twitter. We are America's first live streaming daily talk show. Way to start out the year making
Love
history,
that.
you guys.
Absolutely.
We're making
Congratulations
history.
on that.
Congratulations, you guys.
Absolutely. So how did you spend your New Year's, Rob?
Oh man, how do I spend my New Year's? Let's see. I went to go see a movie I've been wanting to see for a while, which is Molly's Game. Have you heard?
Oh,
yeah.
no,
So it's Jessica Chastain, Kevin Costner, Idris Elba. It's about sort of a former ski champion who sort of started her own high-stakes poker game. It was fantastic.
Wow,
I
really?
love poker movies.
Yeah, I love Jessica Chastain.
So what do you mean? So what was it
Love
about?
her.
What was it about?
Yeah, so basically what happens is, she has like scoliosis, and so that's part of the whole theme, and so she had a sort of tough way up, but she's got these two brothers who are like outstanding Olympian skiers. So she's competing, and one day she basically trips over a twig, like in a major competition, has a major accident. So in the process, so after a while, she basically starts working for somebody else who's throwing these poker sort of games with like celebrities and other sort of folks with lots of money. So anyway, so after a period of time, she starts throwing her own poker games.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. She eventually gets busted because she took a rake.
Rob, do you play poker?
I don't play much poker. I like to watch other people play. I like to watch other people play, and
I love
ideally
watching
win.
those poker movies because it always thinks that it makes me think I could be a card counter.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I should read one of those books. I could get really good at this. And then I went to Vegas once and I lost $20 and I cried. So that's not going to be the life for me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've got friends that, of course, bet really big. A couple friends that bet like 50,000, 100,000, they lose it. And of course, they always get invited back. So I find the whole world interesting, but I'd rather just be an observer.
Right.
Well, it's the new year, so it's time to bet on a new you,
I
right?
love that. Bet on yourself. I love
Bam.
that. I saw that Instagram post.
So what did you do for New Year's, Erin?
Well, I came back from New Mexico, which was amazing, and I've got a little gift for you guys.
Oh, wow.
So,
I love
as you guys
presents.
know, I went over there because of the Karma Army is basically what the startup is, and it's all about good deeds.
Yep.
So I've got both of these coins for you guys right here.
Oh, wow.
And they are coins that are called Karma Army.
It's like Christmas.
And if you look on the back of them, there's a little code. And so what it is you can give these, you can do a good deed, basically, and go out in the world, whether it be, it can be anything. It could be buying someone's coffee or, doing something extravagant, whatever it is. And instead of, when they say thank you or whatever, just give them the coin, and basically it's like pay it forward,
Wow.
Oh, so we do a good deed for someone, and when they say thank you, we give them this coin.
whatever it is, right? So the point
Okay.
is to promote good karma. There's so much heaviness in the world, and these guys, so I want to give a shout out to Nick and Blake over with Karma Army in New Mexico. These guys are extraordinary because I went over there to just kind of look at the project. They're doing a startup, and I thought, well, what a cool project, right? But what happened in spending some time with them is I realized that these guys just don't have just a concept, some technology, some cool coins. These guys have been living it for 10 years. They've been doing crazy things like they found out somebody had some leaks in their roof, and they gave them an entirely new roof, right?
Wow.
They went to the Children's Hospital, and they gave out thousands of really cool balloons. They've done so many just epic things that would blow your mind. And so what I got out of it, I was like, oh no, this is about you guys. They were thinking kind of me being the spokesperson for it, and I'm like, I absolutely will do that. I'd love to showcase some stories, but this is really about you guys. Like, people need to see guys up to extraordinary actions right now, especially right now, right?
Absolutely.
So,
well, it's such an incredible movement. What was their motivation and intention in starting this?
So what happened is I actually found out from Nick, who basically was saying he wanted to get involved with nonprofit. He had, done kind of well in some of his businesses, and he wanted to start giving back. And he couldn't find a nonprofit that it was too distant. He wanted to see the results of his good deeds. So he's like, well, I'm just going to go out and do some good deeds. And it just blows my mind. Who does that?
incredible.
You know what's so funny is having this physical coin makes me so excited to go and do something nice for someone and give this to them. It says right here, spread the love, keep the change.
Right?
I
Love.
love it. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
and track where this number is going to go. So if you see me, Los Angeles, and I do something nice for you, I'm going to give you a coin.
So the website, there is a website, karma.army, but it's not, it's still in the works. So, we're going to kind of watch the journey with all this.
Love
So
that. Love
yeah,
that.
so excited with
So
that.
let's predict what's going to happen in LA, right? So since everybody in LA feels like their presence is the gift, they're just going to be handing them out, just dropping chips.
Well, one of the things we've had a problem with is people love the coin so much that they don't want to give away the coin.
I was just going to
that's
say,
pretty cool.
you know what I
Right?
would love, Erin, is if we could each get a coin a week and we could start tracking it. And then on
Right.
Fridays, we could follow up and see where this coin has made it in Los Angeles.
Right.
Because, this is a show for LA, about LA, and we really want to create change and celebrate it. So what better way to do that than with a karma coin?
Yeah. So we're trying to think of how we can do that where people get multiple coins or something so they don't, because it's kind of like a keepsake.
Yeah,
you don't
true.
want to give it away.
That's true,
So we're
yeah.
working through this stuff. So
It's a good
fun.
idea.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
That's really exciting.
Really brilliant.
Well, I stayed in for New Year's. It was a big, wild time. But one of my goals for the year was to prioritize self-care. And the universe said, you know what, you're going to have to take care of yourself. I'm giving you a cold, and you're going to have to stay in and stay on your couch. But it was a perfect opportunity for me to start reading Maria Felipe's book, Live Your Happy.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I started really doing that and working through that. And I was texting Rob, and I said, I think I just freestyled with the Holy Spirit or something.
It was awesome. That was awesome.
This is
Jess.
crazy, but
Yeah.
it was really a great opportunity for me to personally reflect on last year and where I'm at and what I'm going to do moving forward. And on Friday, I met up with a couple girlfriends who are my accountability group, and they're the Goals Club. And we set our intention and our word for the year. And I thought it'd be really interesting to know what your words or themes for the year would be.
Ooh, that's
Do you have a
good.
word?
I love that. It's funny that you should say that because have you heard of My Intent?
I have.
Yeah.
Shout out Chris Pan. Yeah,
Oh, right.
absolutely.
So My Intent,
She knows everybody.
She does know it. It's amazing.
Honestly.
Yeah, Jess is all over it. It's amazing because My Intent, you can go online essentially and you declare your word, right? And then you can have like a bracelet or a charm or a necklace arrive in the mail with it on it. It's very reasonably priced. And it's amazing because it's been a huge trend, of course, with celebrities for a while. And I had a friend of mine, Rosalinda, sort of gift me one. Because and I remember her asking me, what's your word, Rob? If there's one word.
Wow.
And for me, it was presence.
Ooh.
With a capital P.
Nice.
I love that. 'Cause
Is
it
that
also,
like your
Capital
life
P.
word, or is that your word for the year?
That's my life word, and I like to renew it for the year. How about that? Yeah.
So every year you're renewing presents.
So far, yeah.
Okay, I like it.
And the way I think about presence is not only being present, but also the presence itself. So like life force, positive energy.
And now you get to give presents.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Erin. See that?
I love that.
Yeah.
Erin, do you have like a word for this year?
I would say, and it's the theme of today, what we're going to talk about. By the way, hashtag Motivation Monday, so that's what it's all
That's right.
about. I would say it's yes.
Ah.
So, because I have a coffee cup that a dear friend of mine gave me that says, "Say yes to new adventures."
I love this.
And look, we know there's a time to say no and simplify and get present and whatever. But for me, there's been chapters in my life, and right now my chapter is saying yes. Saying yes to just flowing out there, flowing with people, flowing with projects, because I just know that as you flow, the energy goes wherever it's supposed to go.
I love
Yeah.
that. My word for last year was ready. I just wanted to get myself ready for whatever opportunity would come. And then when I really thought about it, meditated on what my word was going to be this year, I came up with thrive.
Oh, I love that.
It's powerful. I
Right?
love that. Yeah.
Like kind of ready, set, thrive.
Yeah,
Which means saying yes to the universe and yes to opportunities like Dr.
And
Erin.
I heard that someone said yes last night in New York.
Oh, big
Somebody
yes.
did
Right?
say yes.
Speaking of.
Speaking of fellow television personality and a true kind of inspiration to me, Maria Menounos got married last night. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
To Maria and Kevin. They got married on live TV, surprised their family. So she surprised her mom on Instagram, and she was set to host the Times Square New Year's Eve, and it turned into a wedding.
Wow, what a great, except for a little cold for the wedding dress, I'm sure.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful brides ever, and certainly the coldest bride ever. Let's take a look.
Oh, no, Dad. Hold on, Dad. Hold on. We're not getting getting married in the church because we're getting married right here tonight in Times Square. Okay. Yeah. She's crying. You know what, Mom? Kris Jenner told me at Christmas Eve the other night, she said tomorrow's never promised, and she's right. And I love you, and I want you to be there. And it's going to be amazing. We're going to get married right here. Steve Harvey, your favorite's going to marry us.
We're waiting for 80 years.
20. Guys, stay tuned. My mom, are you happy? I am.
Well, this is great. All right, here we are, folks, gathered on this really, really special occasion. This is a serious moment for you, so, God bless you both. So let us begin this way. Kevin, do you freely and without reservation give yourself to Maria in marriage?
I absolutely do.
And Maria, do you freely and without reservation give yourself to Kevin in marriage?
I do.
All right, now face each other, hold hands, and Kevin, please declare your vows to Maria.
Papa Booey, on to you, Steve. Maria, when we first met, my professional life was like a 9. But my personal life was like a 2. I was afraid of the big C word, the commitment word, and of course, marriage. Still, I gained a lover and a best friend, and you gained a lover and a best friend. But in all seriousness, I got to spend the last 20 years with the greatest human being I have ever known. Maria, you are a blessing not just to my life, but an even bigger blessing to this whole world. And you don't even realize that. But again, that's what makes you so incredibly special. I will be with you in brain tumors and in health. I will be with you in this life and the next, and I cannot wait to finally be able to call you my wife. I love you, boo.
Ipomoni in Greek means patience, and we have had that. 20 years ago in that cold basement, when no one wanted us together, this day has finally come for us. The vows of marriage were already in place, boo. You've loved me, you've cherished me, you've held me in sickness and in health. You've been my biggest champion. You've fought for me. You've made all of my dreams come true. When I couldn't fight anymore, you fought, you stood tall. I love you so much. I am so beyond moved tonight, and honestly, the way you've helped me and my family in all of these really dark times, I just wanted to marry you so bad before surgery, after surgery, and I couldn't think of a better way to do it than right here. And Steve, thank you so much for doing this for us, and I love you so much. We've gone through so much together. And I also think it's just so cool that when no one wanted us together 20 years ago, and now we're here, and it's just a whole other story, and my parents are here, and honestly, it's a dream come true knowing that they got to see this, and I love you so much, and thank you for being here.
I love you too, sweetie. I love you so much. I love you so much, honey.
Before we finish, we got to make it.
Wow.
Oh my God, I get tears every time I watch that. Congratulations. Maria and
Congratulations.
Kevin. Really, truly, it's such an incredible and inspiring story. You know, they've been together for almost 20 years. Recently in June, Maria just had surgery for a brain tumor. Wow. And it was certainly a crossroads in her life, in her career, and she's really had to just refocus and reshift and take care of herself. And what better way to celebrate their love and recovery than in Times Square on New Year's Eve and really starting their year together.
I know. Got Mariah in the background.
Right?
Singing a love song.
Yeah,
It doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, who gets married by Steve Harvey?
Absolutely, right? That's pretty incredible.
So knowing whatever health issues or, desiring to lose weight or whatever for the new year, know that it's all possible, and knowing the perfection of the unfoldment of all of it.
Absolutely.
She's a soldier.
Right?
Golly, man.
Oh, so I'm so excited for the second segment. We're going to come back. We have to take a break. And when we come back, you guys, we're going to talk about say yes to the universe. So saying yes to 2018, saying yes to your dreams, saying yes to living a healthy life and having love and all the above, right? I want it all in 2018.
No doubt.
That's what I'm saying.
First
Absolutely.
coffee.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, you guys. We will be right back. Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Royer. Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles.
America's first live streaming daily talk show.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And we have a sexy show for you today.
We have got Will, Leanne, and Gabe in the house. Let's go back there. Hi!
Talked to 4 beautiful, intelligent, conscious women. Clearly, I was miserable the entire time.
She has a TV show similar to your guys.
Ellen.
Yes!
Yes!
The little peck. Come on.
I feel so bad for Jess.
We're live for the people viewing.
For the people.
Wow!
MICKEYMOUSC Club Mickey Mouse on Good Morning LaLa Land.
We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy holidays.
It's going to be a good
Morning, La La Land.
5, 6, 7, 8. We are the Mouseketeers, and we proudly wear our ears. We mousin', we mousin', MICKEYMOUSC Club Mickey Mouse. Good morning, La La Land.
Live from Los Angeles, California. We're back. Good morning, La La Land. And we're going to talk about saying yes to the universe. But before we do that, we're going to find out who's the guest today.
We have a really exciting guest here celebrating the new year with us, Candice Coleman of Blum Beverages. Good morning, Candice.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So here on Good Morning La La Land, we like to know how you start your day in Los Angeles and how you're kicking off the new year.
Well, I'm kicking off the New Year's with gratitude and enthusiasm and like this, just very optimistic. That I'm just excited.
What are you most looking forward to?
New adventures, growing the business, learning.
That is funny, honestly.
Right there. See, she's got the theme, saying yes to new adventures.
Absolutely.
See, it's through the cosmos. You can't help it.
Absolutely. Well, we will get back to you in a couple minutes. Candice, we're excited for your interview.
Okay, good. So today is Motivation Monday. So hashtag Motivation Monday. And we like to begin the second segment by having kind of a conversation that's around empowerment, knowing that this year's been a lot of empowerment, especially for the women out there. So saying yes to the universe.
Yeah, such a great question. You know, it's interesting that you put it that way, Erin. I love the way you put it in terms of yes being a way of empowering yourself, empowering others, because I think sometimes we often think of no as empowerment, and it can be, but I think that they're working sort of concert, right? You want to say no to something, but you want to make sure that your focus isn't on the no all year.
That, you know, that's interesting you bring up the no, because I have friends and family who always tell me they're like, there's power in the positive no, and there is power in a positive no, but there is something so special about just saying yes, and saying yes out of a place of excitement, not out of a place of fear, which is so important, right? Because that's going to affect how you walk into that next
Oh my goodness.
chapter.
Absolutely. And you've got to be careful when your mind is so focused on the negative or on no, you do tend to either attract those kind of situations or you selectively sift through your life and you begin to see it everywhere. Right. So it's mirrored back to you. So it's so incredibly important that when you say no, you really ask yourself and get clear about what you're saying yes to instead of that.
Rather than focusing on the, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z this year. I'm not going to have these relationships. I'm not going to make these commitments, and focusing on that. I'm going to say yes to this.
Exactly. I'm not going to hit the wall. I'm not going to hit the wall. I'm going to, boom, you hit the wall. Motorcycle class 101.
So teaching universal laws of Dr. Divinity, we teach that the universe only knows yes. I mean, that's the reality, is that there's only creation, there's only life, there's only love. I mean, that's the truth. So saying yes means a few things, right? So we know Gabby Bernstein says, what, the universe has my back.
Yep.
So, and then Deepak Chopra has the book, You Are the Universe, whatever. So this is a theme. We know this, that there is something going on. What does it mean to say yes? One, I think, is to realize that all of life is here for our awakening, for our growth, for us to thrive. So saying yes to everything, meaning, like you said, if you resist something and say no, it actually makes it persist. It doesn't mean we have to say no and resist it. It means we're saying yes to whatever it is that we're fully saying yes to.
Yeah.
So what are you guys saying yes to?
Wow, great question. One way I often start is by asking myself what I'm saying no to. So if I'm not clear about what I'm saying yes to, you can always start there. People are usually pretty clear about their pain points, much more so than what they really want or desire. For me, I'm saying yes to freedom, saying yes to abundance. I'm saying yes to being open to any and all opportunities. I'm saying yes to happiness above all else. I think I'm saying yes to love. Yes to peace. There's so many things I'm saying yes to. Right?
Yes to presence.
Yes to presence all day. All
Rob's
day.
in the flow.
That's right. We're saying yes to flow, baby. Absolutely.
And you
Love
said
that.
yes to working out at 4 a.m.? What
Yes,
time?
I said yes to Gold's Gym and
Oh,
Venice
wow. Honestly, wow.
today. It was early, man. It felt early. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't go out last night like crazy out or anything, and it felt pretty early, but I felt great after I was done. Yeah. What are you saying yes to?
Well, I'm saying yes to thriving. And for me, I haven't really decided exactly what that looks like, other than making sure that I'm thriving in all areas of my life and removing or changing the areas that aren't thriving. So in those areas, whatever it is, those relationships or those commitments with my time or my creativity, that they're bearing fruit, that they're thriving. And really being okay to recognize if it isn't something that's thriving, what do I need to do to change that? Rather than putting the blame on someone else or, the circumstance, really not being victim to that, really taking ownership and recognizing, you know what, like, this is what it is, and if it's not thriving, this is what I'm going to do to change that. I'm going to say yes to that change, even if that's change that I'm not comfortable making. Right?
Wow,
Does that
love
make sense?
That. Absolutely. Right? So I have a question about that, particularly for you ladies. So, I know with everything that's going on in terms of like the sexual harassment themes this year, how would you recommend or what would you suggest for women who want to say no, right? But not be stuck in that resistant energy.
Yeah, that's
right?
a great question.
And so that they're so they continue to move forward in a very positive, happy, joyful way that still allows them to maintain their boundaries and all of that good stuff.
But isn't that the point of the Me Too movement? Isn't the hashtag Me Too? Is that when you say yes to listening to your intuition, when you say yes to saying, I'm not okay with this, whatever that yes is, to honoring that voice within. And it doesn't always have to mean that it's about sexual harassment. It's saying, I'm saying yes because I can't deny that I'm supposed to thrive. I can't deny that I'm here to live my dreams. I can't deny this and saying yes to that. So
It's really interesting point, though, that you bring up, Robin. As a woman, it's certainly something that I'm struggling to wrap my head around, because we're certainly trying to create more boundaries and saying, no, this behavior is not acceptable. No, I'm not going to put myself in this position. No, I won't tolerate X, Y, and Z. But how do you do that and still say yes to opportunities, still saying yes to making positive connections, yes to business ventures? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think it's a positive reframe, right? And so the way I think about it is, anytime you're saying no to bad behavior, you want to make sure that you're saying yes to good behavior. So they happen in the very same breath. And you can either be sort of focused on that door that you're closing.
The universe is saying yes.
The
It's
universe
giving you
is saying yes.
confirmation.
You can either say focus on the door that's closing, or you can take your gaze and shift your attention to the doors that can open for you. And so for me, I love this Me Too movement, of course, and I love where things are heading. And I love the idea, the momentum that's building in the direction of increasing opportunities for women from all walks of life to experience greater abundance, greater equality, success, fulfillment, meaning all those things. So for me, I want to say no, and in the very next breath, as quickly as I can, I want to pivot back to what am I saying yes to? I'm saying yes to my dreams. I'm saying yes to my inner guidance and my intuition. I'm saying yes to female empowerment. I'm saying yes to enjoying my life. I'm saying yes to being a positive influence on so many other people. I want to focus in that direction. I don't want to get held up and be held back by the bad behavior of other people, men or other.
And I think that that's the point, is that 2017, women said yes. They said yes to rising, really. And as hard as it is, and whether you believe, there's a debate over these sexual harassment things. And I'm not here really to analyze that. I'm going to leave that up to the people that are specialists in legal arena. But I do know, we had so many things, like there were so many marches. There were so many things that women said yes to in their rising, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the success of even Wonder Woman, right?
Right.
She rose and she killed it. And even today, in 2017, started the day out right. New York Times just released this article about some of the most powerful women in Hollywood who've created this fund and this movement called Time's Up. And it's really incredible because they're creating a sponsorship, a network, a safe place for women who aren't privileged to be able to come out and stand up for behavior that, one, is unacceptable, and two, then turn around and pivot to the yes, like you said, Rob, and take positive action to positive change.
And so they have a fund basically, right, for women in kind of...
Absolutely. They received $13 million in donations that are going to underprivileged women like janitors, nurses, farm workers, etc., to really protect themselves from sexual misconduct and harassment. Also, they're pushing some legislation and really just trying to, create a drive to reach more gender equality. On top of that, they're calling for all the women in Hollywood here in La La Land to, like we mentioned before, they're all wearing black on the red carpet this year.
A lot of men too.
Yeah, standing in unity, all black.
Fascinating times.
Yeah, I love
for
it.
sure.
I love it. And I love what you said earlier, Jez, about that, because you really nailed it. It's as much about the energy you're coming from as it is anything, right? So it's coming from that very positive, very inspired, very empowered place. It's not coming from a place of fear, desperation, or any of that. And I think that's the shift that we want to see happen.
For sure. So saying yes, how are you saying yes to the 4 areas of your life? So we go through this from everything from your health, your vitality, to your relationships, to your money and career, and to your creative expression. Where are you saying yes? And we're going to go later in the show. We're going to actually go through some goal setting, some different things, kind of reviewing what worked and didn't work for 2017, and how we're going to set new goals. Because Rob's a life coach, I'm Dr. Divinity, and Jess is just good at setting goals. Here she is, right? So stay tuned, you guys. We've got a great guest. We're going to take a break.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some healthy alternatives to alcoholic drinks, because I know most people this month are on a kick. We know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. So we want to get kind of more proactive in how we're going to see our goals through in the health arena, especially,
You
right?
want to set goals that stick?
Absolutely, and be part of the movement, #DryJanuary. More
That's
when we
right.
come back.
So we'll be right back, you guys, as we're going to go to the back studio and we're going to talk to Blum Beverages. Candice is in the house, so we'll be back in just one moment. Stay tuned.
This is Jack. His mother didn't save his childhood artwork.
She just threw it all away like it was garbage.
If only his mother had Archive. Archive is the easiest and fastest way to chronologically store your child's art. Snap a picture, tag it, and store it safely in our cloud. Then share it with friends and family. Even turn it into a calendar, mug, or your very own printed book. Oh, you were going to make one yourself? Yeah, that's what his mom said. Download the Archive app now and help us save art.
Archive, available now on the App Store.
Hey, Dr. Drew here, and I am on the HEAL Advisory Board. I got involved with this organization because it's the answer to our healthcare problem. Listen to me. You go to urgent care, you go to emergency room, you are paying for all that equipment, all that infrastructure, you're wasting time, you're exposing yourself to sick people. All you got to do is go to heal.com or get the HEAL app at heal.com. Get that HEAL app, and you can have a doctor wherever you are. It's $99 if you don't have insurance, though most insurances cover it. It's the most effective way to get the care you're looking for and the most cost efficient. $99 all in. That's it. And you get a board-certified physician to show up wherever you are, your home, your work, whatever it is, 8A to 8P, 7 days a week, including holidays. And that board-certified individual, that licensed professional, is going to just be paying attention to you and focusing on you and using his or her judgment to take care of your needs in that moment. Go to HEAL. Check it out. You'll see what I'm saying. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Hi, this is Jennifer Eddy, and I'm here with Spa Girl Cocktails today. We're thrilled to be here with Empowerista and Girl Talk Network at UNITA and El Segundo to help support and empower women, the community. We have 2 flavors with Spa Girl cocktails, pear and spa. Those are our signature cocktails. They're low calorie and gluten free, all natural, nothing added. You can find us at Bevmo and Total Wine in all of your communities. We're thrilled to be here with Focus Magazine today and their December issue.
Hello everyone, I'm Joyce Gerard, creator of the Joyce Miracle Elixir Collection, and I'm happy to say that it's the only collection out there that is not going to have any harsh chemicals, free of parabens, free of sulfates, free of sodium chloride, absolutely cruelty-free, because for me that is super important, and it's made right here in USA, and it's the only line that is going to deliver you the best antioxidants, vitamins, fatty acids, minerals, straight from Mother Nature. I've infused my entire line with buriti, maracuya, moringa, and argan. So you have the buriti, which is the tree of life. You have the argan, which is literally liquid gold. You have the maracuya, which is the richest source of vitamin C. And you have the moringa, which is the richest superfood in the world. So I've combined all these yummy ingredients from Mother Nature and delivered them straight to you, straight to your strands, straight to your face. In all my products, that's the base of it. And the most important thing is that everything is made with love right here at home in USA, straight for you.
And the reason they book me and keep me is because it's more than just training. It's just authentic. And so I think that's one thing I realized that I had my whole life was will. I'm so determined to get to where I want to go. I'm not going to let nothing stop me, not even myself. Right? And I try to tell my clients and people, it's all a mindset. You know,
Absolutely.
You got to really want it. I said, you can change anything, but before you change anything, you got to change it in your mind first. Just because I always say if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
I'm Eden Sassoon, and I own 2 Pilates studios, Eden by Eden Sassoon Pilates. And to be quite honest, I hate socks. But my girlfriend Sally just created a line, Mantra Socks. And to me, at Pilates, you cannot get on my machine without socks. But now, you can get on my machine with the intention. Today, I have Be Love. To me, that means a lot. But also, when you buy a pair of these socks, 1 pair gets donated to a homeless shelter. And that is something, that's really what matters, to be quite honest. It's not just about the sock. It's about the intention. It's about what you're giving back and how you're paying it forward. And so for that, Sally, I thank you. And I love Mantra Socks.
Hi guys, I'm Joyce Gerard, and I support my beautiful friend Sally with her Mantra Socks. Look how cute they are. Be Love is my favorite, so go get them. Run and get them on Amazon.com.
Live from Los Angeles, California, we're back. Good morning, La La Land. We are here with incredible guest, Candice Coleman. How are you?
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you so much for rising early on New Year's Day. Not many people would want to be up and about.
Oh no, I'm excited. What a great way to start the new year. Are you kidding me? The first thing, January 1 is right here in this beautiful set with you lovely people.
It's an auspicious sign, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is. Well, we're so excited to have you here today, and we want to talk about, obviously, the incredible thing you were doing with Blum Beverages. But let's start. What was the inspiration that led you to this?
I was, 2014, I was dropped on my head. It was a really silly accident. And during my 3-month brain injury recovery, I found that you can't drink because of the injury, you can't drink because of the medication. And going out socially or even having people over or guests, there's nothing to drink on the social menu. I realized that it's either boring, childish, it's like water, or unhealthy. And I'm kind of a health kind of passionate nut. And I just thought this is crazy that no one's catering to this market, because there's a lot of people that don't drink or find themselves in a position where they can't drink. So.
But just reverse, what happened? What happened? You got dropped on your head. Tell us a little bit more about that.
My husband was carrying me in the kitchen because he does a daily run. He runs every day of his life. It was raining and we were going to a party, and he says, we're going to be back. I'm going to miss my streak, so I've got to put on my running watch, run in the house. And I said, well, I can make your mile like a 3 miles if you carry me. It was silly. The kids are there. The kids are everywhere. Yeah, he runs around. In the meantime, the dog got in the way.
Oh, no.
He flies to the air. My head hits the travertine floor. He falls on top of me. It's a scene. Kids it was, yeah. Anyways.
How are you feeling now?
Fantastic. Everything. It was really feel very blessed, because 3 months later, they were shocked that I had fully recovered.
3 months later. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Were you concerned during that 3 month period that?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day I thought, am I ever going to get better? It was scary.
Wow. So do you have to go in for surgery, or what?
No. It's just a kind of a wait and see. But I had a little motivation, so I could read, but my brain would I'd stop breathing if I read for too long. It was weird. And so I had my oldest son reading for me and researching. I'm like, look up this. And literally it was, I went and rested my brain for 1 week. It just did nothing, and put frankincense oil, I don't know if I can plug, but on the stem, because I heard that worked. I just did all these things, and ambient noise, and for whatever reason, it sped up the process. So, and that was just from digging deep.
Interesting.
And anyways, that was
incredible. Well, we're firm believers that the universe has our back, right? That all these things happen for whatever reason, and you're so inspirational in that you took it and found the blessing in it and gave it to the world, and that's so amazing, incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me to hear stories about people that have been through something extremely traumatic like that, and they come out the other end, and there's growth from that, right? Whether it's professional growth or personal growth, and you're a perfect example of that kind of growth. It's just beautiful, so I appreciate you sharing that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Also, for people out there, I did notice, doing the research, that you had it on one of the Kickstarters, right?
Correct.
And you had a success.
It was fantastic.
And so I know people out there, many people are saying, okay, it's 2018, I have this dream, I want to make it happen. What kind of advice can you give for people that are thinking about doing a Kickstarter?
Do it. Absolutely do it. Don't be scared. I kind of have this attitude of why not? Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. That gives you information. Go to something next. Mm-hmm. So basically, it was definitely something that gave me a big boost in encouragement and confidence and the whole experience.
Absolutely. When the community rallies behind you like that to fund something that's so powerful, not only to you, but to service the community. I mean, you've got an incredible product here.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So let's try it.
Let's try it.
So tell us a little bit about, there's 4 different ones, right?
There's 2 different blends. I just have 2 different blends. There's the Zen blend and the Uplift blend.
Ooh, it's morning. I'm going to go Uplift.
Still early yet, huh, Jess?
Yeah.
Still early yet.
You
zened out.
Let's go.
I don't blame you. So the Uplift blend is made with, it's all plant powered, and it has beautiful properties of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory that the different plants that are brewed in here are known for. There's hibiscus, rose, calendula, and yerba mate in this one.
Oh, nice. You have me at yerba mate.
And I'll just go over the Zen blend real quick. The Zen blend is hibiscus, lavender, chamomile, holy basil, everything in there. There's an L-theanine in here, natural amino acid. Everything designed to just calm and focus you, but it doesn't put you to sleep.
You know what I love about this is that the packaging is so beautiful. Yeah. So when you want to bring a nice bottle of wine to the party, it's all about the label. I judge a wine by the label, I'm not going to lie.
True.
But this is so nice because it would serve as a really nice gift.
For a non-drinker or somebody, or someone.
Even for a drinker.
It's a great mixer.
You can mix
it's a great mixer. Yes, it's a great mixer. Yeah. It really is. So they look like they don't.
You do the honors.
Oh, you want to do? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were purposely designed to be red, so it looks like a cocktail or a wine in a glass. but there's no grape juice in it. And so thank you so much.
That's so funny you mentioned that. It looks like a wine in the glass.
Yes.
So if you drink the wine, drink it in a wine glass, you can totally fool everybody.
No one will buy
Which is really, really important, actually. I used to throw parties in Miami. I remember thinking, I cannot drink every single night. I wish there was something like this that I could drink, and people would think I was drinking.
They would think you're drinking.
I could
Or I
pretend to
get
be
pregnant women. I get a lot of pregnant women that want not ready to expose the information, so they're sitting there holding their Blum. Anyway,
Oh, they're
cheers
Blum.
to 2018.
To 2018.
Fresh,
Thank you.
thriving, healthy
Healthy.
stars. Let's try it.
Speaking of 2018,
like
you've
really
got
good.
a dry January
I
challenge.
love that.
Thank you.
Tell us about the dry January challenge.
Oh, so we're having Dry January Challenge. It actually is a big movement that started in the UK 5 years ago. Millions of people have signed up for it. It's exciting. They are actually studying the benefits for just taking a month off of drinking, and they have found through personal stories and through scientific stories. Maybe you already shared this. I don't know. Did you already share this?
No, tell us everything.
You know, people experience weight loss, they experience better sleep, better skin, just an overwhelming sense of, you know, just feeling better. They save money from all the money that they're not doing. And there's there's an app that was made to track your progress and kind of encourage you. And you can also put either be sponsored or put some of the money towards charity. You can pick which charity on the app that you want to donate to at the end. So we're having
Dry with purpose. Okay.
I love
Hey,
that.
Jess.
I love that
Hashtag.
so much. And they say that, you know, researching the New Year's resolutions, they say most will basically by February things go away. But I just am reading the book by Tim Ferriss about the 4-hour body, and he says it's okay. The go with the roller coasters. Like, it's okay if you just have a New Year's resolution for the month of January. What's wrong with that, right? So
Absolutely.
go for it.
It's true. It's like at least that 1 month was a positive month.
Right?
Yeah. You're still in the positive. Yeah. Love it.
Absolutely.
I love this because I'm not really much of a drinker. I'll drink, but not a lot. So this is so good. And tell me about the sugars in it. Is there a lot of sugar? What's the
So
sugar
this
content?
one, the Uplift presents a little bit more of a sweeter taste on the palate, whereas the Zen doesn't, and they both have equal amount of sugar. There's 9 grams of sugar for a 5-ounce cocktail pour, and so it's only 35 calories if you have 5, you know, like a full social glass. But if you drink the entire 750 milliliter, it's 175 calories.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Whoa, less than 200 calories for the whole bottle?
Like 4 M&Ms. Not even. That's incredible.
I love
Some more of
that
that.
so much. So what advice would you give? Like, was it hard to get, you had all the obviously the branding together, the bottle, where would you suggest people, where do they start? Like, say they have a brand they want to start out there. Where would they even begin?
A brand, well, it's 2 years product development with all kinds of, you know, challenges, and you just keep on going. Like, I just push through. You just have a belief that you can make it happen, no matter when someone tells you, and they will, you can't do it or it's not possible. Yes, you can. You just keep looking. But starting a brand, just define your image. What do you want it to be? You know, what do you want to communicate to the world, and just stay true to that. That's all.
What I love about this product too is your personal connection to it, right? Because I think that's what makes a brand incredible. That's, for me, that's what it resonates so deeply for me, is your personal story around it, you know, and that you're so authentically invested in it, you know, not just your idea, but yourself, you're invested in it. So, you know, for those people that are sort of working through that, and they want to invest in something like this, and they want to stay persistent the way you did, what would you suggest to them? What would you tell them? How did you stay full of belief despite people closing doors or saying no? Where did that persistence come from? Is that something that's always been with you? Is it something you have to develop?
I think a little both.
Yeah.
It's always been with me, and I just believe that this niche market has not been. No one's given that attention to the people that can't drink, and so I just the belief, I guess, and just being able to offer something to some healthy and fun and social. I entertain. You know, we're big entertainers and love it. And what do you give to guests? And I don't know. I have a belief in it. Sorry.
Yeah,
What
perfect.
What have you learned from this journey?
Just, I think what we've been talking about, persistence. a lot of people go, gosh, that it just happened, and it doesn't happen overnight. And enjoy the journey. I really enjoy the process, and that's.
What do you enjoy about it?
Waking up, being creative, and facing the day, because it's not the same. Every day is different. It's not like getting up and going to the desk or getting up and doing the same thing I was doing. It's just challenge and fun and creative and meeting lovely people. A lot of tastings.
Yeah, a lot of tastings.
A lot of tastings.
That's a rough life.
We have a really large sober community in Los Angeles as well, right? I think there's something like 5,000 meetings a day in Los. Don't quote me on that. I've heard that hearsay, but I would believe that. I think that there's many people like, I'm not an alcoholic and I don't drink that much. So it's almost like weird for people. Like, what do you mean you're not drinking? What's wrong with you, right? Yeah. And I find that I'm looking for these, alternatives for sure. And they're usually not at the party, There's maybe some sparkling water or something like that. So it's really nice, really beautiful job what you've done here.
Oh, thank you. There's a statistic that's been reported that there's 30% of the population, or Americans, that don't drink, 30% that are light drinkers, one or two. So that's 60%. And all of the marketing dollars is going towards that 40%.
Interesting, fascinating.
It's so interesting. Yeah, there's a huge perception that just basically everybody drinks all the time.
Right,
you go to social media, that's what it looks like.
Right.
They're either at the gym or they're drinking.
Or holding
they're probably drinking with celebrities.
Right.
Exactly. That's it. There's nothing in between.
That's wonderful. So where can they find it? Is it in stores?
So currently, we're a new company. We launched in just last year, 2017. We are at Wade's Wines. We're in some restaurants locally, more Southern California based. There's a whole list on the website, but you can also order on the website, and we ship anywhere in the United States. I didn't mean to plug that, but anyways.
Yeah, plug away, girl. Beverages.com. Follow the journey.
And then where can they find you on social media?
All of Social Media Blum Beverages on all of the social media. And you can sign up for our Dry January Challenge on the links that are there. And yeah.
That sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
You're awesome.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
So when we come back, you guys, we're going to talk and review in 2017. And I don't know, Andy's saying something. I can't read his writing from afar. So we're coming back with surprise guest.
Oh, no. That makes me so nervous, Andy.
Okay, good. Okay,
surprise me with mistletoe. Look what happened. Here we go. Surprise.
And for the record, I wasn't sick. And you're not, so just so we know. Didn't get you sick, I promise.
Hilarious. Okay, so stay tuned, you guys. We have a surprise guest. And then after that, we're going to do some reviewing of our 2017 goals. And we're going to set some new goals for 2018. So stay tuned.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, you guys. Cheers. Thanks.
Morning LaLa Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Royer. Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles.
America's first live streaming daily talk show.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And we have a sexy show for you today.
We have got Will, Leanne, and Gabe in the house. Let's go back there. Hi!
Talked to 4 beautiful, intelligent, conscious women. Clearly, I was miserable the entire time.
She has a TV show similar to your guys.
Ellen.
Yes!
Yes!
The little pack. Come on.
I feel so bad for Jess.
We're live for the people viewing.
For the people.
Wow!
MICKEYMOUSC Club Mickey Mouse on Good Morning LaLa Land.
We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy holidays.
It's going to be a good
Good morning, La La Land.
5, 6, 7, 8. We are the Musketeers, and we proudly wear our ears. We mousin', we be mousin', MICKEY, Club Mickey Mouse. Good morning, La La Land.
Okay, we are live back with a special guest, Melinda Manos. How are you?
Good morning, Happy New Year. Ready to rock 218.
That's right. Love that.
Bam!
She's a pro right here.
So Melinda has Manos Public Relations, a PR company. So if you're out there in the world, in Los Angeles, it's all about PR, right?
Absolutely. What we say that, it's timing for public relations. It could be when you're launching a business. It could be when your business is booming and you want to maximize it. And it could be when you're relaunching it or that you're making a comeback. So there's timing is very important. And I also say that PR is not for everyone right away, which is why I have a traditional PR firm that we're based in Beverly Hills. We've been there since 2006. But which is why I have launched Pop-Up PR. And this is for people who don't need a contract, 3 or 6 month of public relations, and they don't have also the budget. And with this, it's just a consult. It is a pop-up, and it kind of gives you...
Pop-ups are all the rage in Los Angeles.
It's the rage.
Pop-up, right?
Pop-up PR.
And it includes so many people, whether it's a musician who's just starting out or it's a new business.
But can you explain what is PR? Because there's people out there, and for many, I was like, what is PR? I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Well, it's building awareness and maximizing awareness of your brand, whether you're the talent or a company or a product or an event, an annual event.
And so that means like going into what, magazines? That means going
Absolutely.
on shows? What does that entail?
It's traditional media outreach, so that could be as simple as press release generated across the country to the appropriate outlets. It could be radio interviews. It could be now with there's so many outlets. I mean, it's endless.
You know what's really interesting about that too is because most people don't understand that the reason they're aware of a brand is the PR that's been done. It takes something like 7 or 8 times of being made aware of a brand before it actually registers with a person.
Absolutely. And there's so many times I meet talent and they've been working on a project or they're doing some wonderful charity event and no one knows about it. So it's getting the word out and again, maximizing awareness of whatever you're doing. And when Candice and I met, she was referred to me. A lot of my clients come through referrals, so I'm very grateful for that. And she was reluctant maybe to start because she had PR, and I hear this a lot, that did very little. And, it's too bad, they maybe bill in advance and make a lot of promises and not a lot develops. And it makes our job a little harder because we deliver and we have to kind of hold the hand and make sure they see that results are happening. And let's ask.
So yeah, it was an amazing referral from Melinda, and everything she just told you is so right on. And it's been just a couple months really, and it's been amazing. We've gotten so much exposure, and what I really love is when you first launch your own company, you're kind of everything. You play all roles, and so it was very difficult for me to try to do all of the marketing and all the exposure, and Melinda's been absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how let's say there's a company out there, an individual trying to start something new. How do they know when they're ready for PR? Is there a certain moment? Because you mentioned the timing piece, and so what would you say to somebody who's not sure if they're ready for the PR yet? How do they know?
Absolutely. So that you want to make sure your website is really up to speed. You want to make sure that you have some sales outlets. So, I mean, if I were to get Blum Beverage in the LA Times, which we did last week.
Love it.
Congratulations.
People want to
No small
know
feat.
where you can buy it. And if you're not available, other than online, outlets don't usually go for that. They want to know, the media wants to know that their readers will be able to purchase it easily. So that's the other thing is get it. So I'll have a jewelry collection that approaches me, but they're not in many stores. And I'll say, move along and check back with me in 3 or 6 months. If you can get in Nordstrom, there we go. It's a catch-22 though, because maybe PR can get you into Nordstrom's, the awareness. But also if you're in Nordstrom, then I can take the ball and run.
So how do people get past this whole catch-22? Because that's seems like it's like very daunting. I can't get PR until I have PR. How do I get PR?
It's like trying to get a loan when you have no money.
Yeah, there's not one real, every client is different, every product is different, and yeah, that's my challenge every day though, is like the timing on PR, when to take a client, which is again why I started pop-up PR, because some people just need a consult and it's a one-off, and then I'll say, come back in 6 months when you've done this, this, and this.
And what is this, and this?
It's getting their brand more defined, or getting their talent more defined, or getting an agent so they can have more appearances on TV, get a sizzle reel done, get your social media numbers up. It's such a competitive market. Who is your competition?
And who is your audience?
Yes, and speaking of that, we've heard great things about your agency. And so who are some of the people that you've worked with?
Wow, I've worked with, I have a Miss America client. I've worked with large franchises such as Total Women Gym and Day Spa. I've worked with a multi-million-dollar denim company, Not Your Daughter's Jeans. So I've also worked with startups and taken them for 2 or 3 years until they're thinking of being sold. So I work with talent, brands, and events. And the events, I find many clients are multifaceted. So they have a radio talk show, they're a book author, they're a PhD, and they have a charity, they have a cause. So I
Sounds like all of us.
Yeah,
Dr. Erin just described.
What are you looking for specifically in the clients that you take on and choose to have that professional relationship
Right.
with?
Well, I love that when they're multifaceted, that they have many areas that we can promote and cross promote. There's so much more to get in. I love a launch. Any kind of client that's launching something. So I'm different than a celebrity PR firm that has celebrity and the phone rings and they want to book them. And I have to think out of the box. I have to try harder. Marketing, it's a whole combination.
You're a hustler.
Yeah,
That's why you're a
what do you
hustler.
say to people who are, thinking outside the box for themselves before they get to a position where they can work with you and they need to be pitching themselves? What would be some tips you would give to people pitching themselves?
I think it's tricky when you're promoting yourself because you're the talent, and so that's why there's room for agents and managers and publicists, because it's really better when you have someone pitching yourself.
But you mentioned the catch-22. You got to pitch yourself to get pitched.
Having said that, it's a fine line of being knowing your strengths and what you have to offer someone, a booker or a journalist, and that's unique. And also and it's a fine line of not being annoying. So you can say, I'd be great for this role. I'd be great for this show. I'd love to comment. I'm an expert on something. I'd love to comment in your blog or article. But don't annoy them. Put it out
Be
there.
persistent, not annoying.
Yeah, and really, I think have your brand tight. I mean, you don't need 2 pages. You need a paragraph, and your links. And really tighten up everything you have. All your collateral materials, maybe have an EPK. There's a lot you can do on your own. But back to also working with Candice, I was just going to say, another thing I look for is I love the collaboration. I love someone who calls and says, what do you think about this, this, and this? And I'll be like, well, okay. And the creativity of market, like teaming up.
A lot of creative ideas come that way.
Yeah.
Much more powerful than you do it alone.
So the entrepreneurial spirit is exciting.
So exciting. So if someone's out there and they're looking, they go, okay, I think I'm ready for a PR agent. What would they look like? Maybe they're not here and they, in a different part of the country or something. They're saying, how would they shop for a great PR agent? What would they look for?
Right. Many of my clients are not in Los Angeles. And in fact, one of them I've never met. She's back east. She's a Broadway star who's launched a product collection, a purse and makeup brand. So I would say that you want to look at their roster. Most PR firms will have a website. Look at their roster. See if there's people that you in your arena that they would specialize in. Also, I'm a boutique firm. So do you want to go with the mega firm that's probably pricier and has a lot, maybe more powerhouse, what brand? Or do you want that kid glove boutique size firm? So you have to figure out where, so, see who they have, and if you kind of think you fit in with that, and if they have an expertise in who you are, and their results. I mean, I just looked at a restaurant client, a potential restaurant client, and they said, well, they've had PR, and I looked at their website, and their PR, their last press was 2014.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, okay, who is that PR firm? How can, I mean, the restaurant market is so competitive and you don't have press for 3 years. That's a red flag. But, and also word of mouth. I mean, reputation. I mean, ask around, and, there's the thumbs up and the thumbs down and I won't name names.
Well, you're starting the year off well, Candice. I mean, being here with Melinda, this is incredible. We're excited to celebrate with you.
Let's soar with Manos PR.
All right, I love that.
Take us out.
Sure. So we'll be right back after break.
This is Jack. His mother didn't save his childhood artwork.
She just threw it all away like it was garbage.
If only his mother had Archive. Archive is the easiest and fastest way to chronologically store your child's art. Snap a picture, tag it, and store it safely in our cloud. Then share it with friends and family. Even turn it into a calendar, mug, or your very own printed book. Oh, you were going to make one yourself? Yeah, that's what his mom said. Download the Archive app now and help us save art.
Archive, available now on the App Store.
Hey, Dr. Drew here, and I am on the HEAL Advisory Board. I got involved with this organization because it's the answer to our healthcare problem. Listen to me. You go to urgent care, you go to emergency room, you are paying for all that equipment, all that infrastructure, you're wasting time, you're exposing yourself to sick people. All you got to do is go to heal.com or get the HEAL app at heal.com, get that HEAL app, and you can have a doctor wherever you are. It's $99 if you don't have insurance, though most insurances cover it. It's the most effective way to get the care you're looking for and the most cost efficient. $99 all in. That's it. And you get a board certified physician to show up wherever you are, your home, your work, whatever it is, 8A to 8P, 7 days a week, including holidays. And that board certified individual, that licensed professional, is going to just be paying attention to you and focusing on you and using his or her judgment to take care of your needs in that moment. Go to HEAL. Check it out. You'll see what I'm saying. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Hi, this is Jennifer Eddy, and I'm here with Spa Girl Cocktails today. We're thrilled to be here with Empowerista and Girl Talk Network at UNITA and El Segundo to help support and empower women, the community. We have 2 flavors with Spa Girl Cocktails, Pear and Spa. Those are our signature cocktails. They're low-calorie and gluten-free, all natural, nothing added. You can find us at Bevmo and Total Wine in all of your communities. We're thrilled to be here with Focus Magazine today in their December issue.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joyce Gerard, creator of the Joyce Miracle Elixir Collection. And I'm happy to say that it's the only collection out there that is not going to have any harsh chemicals, free of parabens, free of sulfates, free of sodium chloride, absolutely cruelty-free, because for me that is super important. And it's made right here in the USA. And it's the only line that is going to deliver you the best antioxidants, vitamins, fatty acids, minerals, straight from Mother Nature. I've infused my entire line with buriti, maracuya, moringa, and argan. So you have the buriti, which is the tree of life. You have the argan, which is literally liquid gold. You have the maracuya, which is the richest source of vitamin C. And you have the moringa, which is the richest superfood in the world. So I've combined all these yummy ingredients from Mother Nature and delivered them straight to you, straight to your strands, straight to your face in all my products. That's the base of it. And the most important thing is that everything is made with love right here at home in USA, straight for you.
And the reason they book me and keep me is because it's more than just training. It's just authentic. And so I think that's one thing I realized that I had my whole life was will. I'm so determined to get to where I want to go. I'm not going to let nothing stop me, not even myself. And I try to tell my clients and people, it's all a mindset. You know, you got to really want it. I said, you can change anything, but before you change anything, you got to change it in your mind first. Just because I always say if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
I'm Eden Sassoon, and I own 2 Pilates studios, Eden by Eden Sassoon Pilates. And to be quite honest, I hate socks. But my girlfriend Sally just created a line, Mantra Socks. And to me, at Pilates, you cannot get on my machine without socks. But now, you can get on my machine with the intention. Today, I have Be Love. To me, that means a lot. But also, when you buy a pair of these socks, 1 pair gets donated to a homeless shelter. And that is something, that's really what matters, to be quite honest. It's not just about the sock. It's about the intention. It's about what you're giving back and how you're paying it forward. And so for that, Sally, I thank you. And I love Mantra Socks.
Hi guys, I'm Joyce Gerard and I support my beautiful friend Sally with her Mantra socks. Look how cute they are. Be Loved is my favorite. So go get them. Run and get them on Amazon.com.
And we're live back in Los Angeles, and wow, oh my goodness, how great are those heel? I'm kidding. I could have used that a couple weeks ago.
I think Jess can right now.
Absolutely.
Poor thing.
So I'm starting 2018 not on the strongest foot. And just watching that promo, I'm so excited because Dr. Drew is a heel app advisor recently on the latest issue of Focus magazine. So we are going to put heel to the test. I'm going to download this app and see if they're available on January 1st because I could certainly use some guidance, and especially because I represent a lot of the population that doesn't have health insurance. And it's really hard and challenging for me to be able to get access to good health care and health care that I trust.
Totally, yeah.
You know, so it's really interesting actually on the app. They said, you know, they'll be there within 2 hours and they come to you. It is less than $100 for a doctor to come to your door. That's really incredible.
It's incredible. It really is. I think last time I went to urgent care, it was like $170, $160. I was in Florida, but still it's super expensive. And then, of course, you know, I've had a couple of conditions before where I know, like I need antibiotics or I need this or that, but it's often difficult to make that case.
Absolutely, especially because, you know, when you're on a budget, you think, oh, I'm going to be fine, I'm going to be fine. And then you don't invest in your healthcare or your self-care. And that is one of my goals for 2018 is to prioritize my self-care. So we're going to start with Dr. Drew's Heal app today.
So let's talk about that, you guys. Let's talk about some goals. So, you know, I've ran masterminds for years online and in personal groups. And goal setting is so important. They say that only 3% of the population set goals.
Wow.
And only 1% of the population looks at their goals every day. And then working with like top CEOs, what I found is that most people do quarterly goals. They do a 1-year goal, well, they do like a 10-year goal, 5-year goal. So this year they would do 1-year goal and they have them quarterly. So at the end of 12 weeks, you go over your goals. So in a mastermind, we set goals in the 4 areas of our lives. So we do it in our, you know, finances and career. We do it in our health and wellness. We do it in our relationships, and we do it in our creative expression. So, we also, in something like today, we go back over last year and we look what happened, what did we do good at, what didn't we do good at. So for you guys, looking back at 2017, taking inventory of yourself, where would you give yourself, what kind of a grade would you give yourself on your goal setting, on hitting your goals?
I would give myself an A.
I love that. The spirit of self-
Honestly, I would. I mean, not necessarily in all areas, but I certainly know I put my best effort into that. Did it necessarily achieve the goals or results I wanted? Maybe not in the exact form I envisioned, but I certainly put in the effort. And I think it's interesting because I invested wisely with my time, talent, creativity. Enter in Good Morning LaLa Land. And I really taught myself some interesting things and trying to better myself, you know, in my health and wellness, in my finances, in abundance. And so now I feel ready, which was my goal of last year, to thrive this year.
Right.
It's so powerful, Jez. I love the way you put that. It's true. Sometimes life shows up in a different way than you expect it to.
Absolutely.
And it can be even more rewarding.
Yeah. We call it outlining. So the universe, you can have a goal, you can have a specific goal, but you've got to be open for, we say, that or something greater. But I do think that money's interesting because people hate, they're like, oh, money, I don't want to look at that. But I think that money's great in that it really measures. It's a real clear measurement. Did you hit that number or not? It's like straight up math.
So let me ask you this though. What do you do when you didn't hit that number? Because I was very specific on a number, which was, I mean, pretty far-fetched, let's be honest. I was very specific about a time that I would reach that number, and I was very specific about the way in which I would get there. Well, that time passed in July. It's January of the following year. I mean, what do you do though?
Well, you would take a look at what was it? Was your goal, you know, like unrealistic? Was it just some like, oh, I'll put this like, you know, out in the ethers kind of a thing? What was measurable? How were you having a...
That brings up an interesting point. What makes a goal unrealistic, right? Because we're supposed to dream big, think big.
Like that one.
Right? So why limit myself to something like, oh, well, I could make $5,000 this year. Why limit myself to that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about that?
Tony Robbins has this great quote, and he says, we sort of overestimate what we can accomplish in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. And I've generally found that to be true. So I look for just a positive trend. I want to make sure I'm trending upwards in general. But it's a very good point that you make, Jez. I firmly believe in setting very unrealistic goals almost because I feel more deeply inspired by those. I don't feel inspired by making $100 more. Those don't inspire me. So I like to set goals that are seemingly unrealistic to most people because I like to accomplish things that are unrealistic for most people. That being said, even though I think in that sort of unrealistic or global way, I try to act in very local fashion. So I'm like, what one or two things can I do today to move me in that direction? So while that big goal is ultimately where I'm headed, I try not to focus on it too much to the extent that I feel like I'm either disappointing myself or I let myself down. I just let it sort of dangle there as sort of something that continues to inspire me forward.
That's why I give myself an A, because I gave myself a big goal, maybe slightly delusional, but takes a little delusion to be happy, according to Rob. And I made every effort
You're gritty.
to get there.
Jeslyn, you're extremely gritty. You really are gritty. Yes.
Gritty's a good adjective.
Oh, it is.
Rob.
It is. So in positive psychology, gritty is one of the highest compliments.
What does that mean?
Yeah, to be gritty means to not let anything shake your persistence
She
or your
definitely
confidence
is that.
or your ability to move forward in your life. I mean, you're here today and you
okay.
were ridiculously sick over the weekend. We all know that. You know? So
I'm
it's
gritty.
an ability to be persistent, to persist in the face of obstacles, Jess.
I like that.
It's everything.
But I think that
thanks,
a lot of the positive movement or the spiritual movement, we tend to have these goals, which are great to have kind of fluffy goals, if you will. And sometimes we go way beyond where we thought we were going to go because we have it way out there. But I also truly believe in having measurable goals. So for example, if I'm saying, oh, I want to thrive in my health, what does that look like? Does that mean having X amount of energy to be able to do X amount of a workout for however long? Does that mean weighing a particular weight? What does that mean? Because if we're like, just like, oh, I'm just going to be healthy and I'm just going to eat whole food, but I'm going to eat like platefuls of whole food, right? So we have to have something that's measurable. I think it's both. I think we need to have really specific goals that are measurable and kind of have those elusive, bigger goals.
And that all goes back to that SMART acronym that we're all familiar with, right? That you want to set goals that are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're realistic, they're time-tested or timely.
Whoa, one more
it's a
time.
whole thing.
I was not
Specific,
familiar with that.
Yeah, so it's specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic. And T is for like basically time-boxed or time, you know, that you put a time sort of schedule on it. I love that idea. And what I found has worked most deeply for me, though, is setting process-oriented goals as opposed to simply like destination goals. So for instance, let's say that I want to one day, hypothetically, this isn't true for me necessarily, but one day I want to be married and I want to have kids, 5 kids, 6 kids, whatever. I would say that might be my long-term goal, but how can I make today an experience, how can I make my relationships today more loving? And how can I feel more deeply connected with people? Or let's say that one day I want to be a millionaire. Say, how can I make today a more abundant sort of experience for myself, or a more successful experience for myself? So I think it's really important to make your goals measurable, as you said, but also to recognize that you want to make them process-oriented so that you're enjoying the journey along your way to the destination.
And your sister is a full-on advocate for all that, right?
She is. No, yeah, she's like you too. She's as gritty as they come. She's got 2 little ones. She gets that from my mom and from my dad. So she's got a blog now, and she's in real estate. She sells these luxury homes.
So we have a little surprise for you because we love your family so much. We want to give a shout out to his entire family. And we have some footage of Angela here in the studio right here because we thought she's the perfect motivation. I mean, she has the name Angel, if you will. So we wanted to just bring her into the family today right here at Focus TV in West Hollywood.
Wow.
Hello, Angela Madden here, helping you to find the inspiration you need to live the life you love and to love the life you live. Did you know no one's life is perfect? No one's. I don't care, not your mom's, not your dad's, not your cousin's, sister's, best friend. No one's life is perfect. Life was created to be imperfect, messy, chaos in motion. And it is in the imperfection that makes it beautiful. You know, I'm reminded of a conversation I had with one of my good friends, Justin. We were talking and he was like, Ange, oh my gosh, it looks like you had an amazing time at the drive-in. It looks like you had so much fun. The girls, did they love it? It was their first time. And I was like, yeah, it was amazing. You saw that one picture. How many times do we look at somebody's social feed and think, wow, their life is perfect. Their marriage is amazing. Their kids impeccable. But that is not the whole picture. You're only seeing their highlight reel. See, that same drive-in when I went with my babies, was it amazing? Was it fun? Yes, it absolutely was. But what Justin didn't see was that after I took that picture, my 2-year-old broke down crying, and my 4-year-old was uncomfortable to the point where she was crying, not wanting to watch the movie. Life isn't perfect. It's a beautiful mess, and we need to embrace that. Today, I want you to be encouraged to know that as messy as life may look, as messy as it can get in the chaos that surrounds you, there is purpose in it. Have you ever watched a painter paint a picture? Have you ever sat back and watched that? To us as an observer, it's completely abstract. We have no idea what he's going for or what it looks like. But that painter knows exactly what he has in mind. That's exactly how it is with God. Your life might feel like it's chaos. It might feel completely in disarray. But God has an intention and a purpose in it. And at the end of the day, when you sit back and look at the beautiful painting that he is making, you will say, what a masterpiece. I want you to know that your life doesn't have to be perfect for there to be purpose. In fact, I would say it's in the moments of imperfection that the greatest purpose is found. You are in the midst of your purpose, and there's a perfect painter making that happen. Have a wonderful day and hold on. Their highlight reel is not the whole picture. You've got this thing. We'll see you next time.
Oh, love my sister.
Your family is so wise. I
You're
mean,
so sweet, Jaslyn.
wow.
Yeah. My sister, I absolutely adore her, and she lives that every day. She really deeply lives that. And it's such a good reminder, I think for me, especially as well, is that there is purpose in everything. And you do want to set goals that are measurable, and we want to do all these things, no question about it, and not get hung up on the idea that we have to be perfect or we have to have a year where we hit all our goals.
You know, that resonated with me so deeply, that your life doesn't have to be perfect to have purpose. And so much about having the perfect life is embracing the imperfection. You know, looking behind and beyond the highlight reel that's our Instagram and our Facebook or our Vines or whatever, and really recognizing the real, raw, and relevant things that make us like, genuinely perfectly imperfect. perfect.
Oh man, I love that.
You know,
absolutely.
I'm so glad that we have her as, you know, a correspondent. We'll see more of Angela over the next couple weeks.
Right.
And
So excited.
yeah.
In the house. I know you think sometimes goals don't go as planned, and sometimes you're like, oh, that didn't work out because it opened this other door over
It's
here
so
for
true.
sure.
I remember there's a great quote, and I'm not going to remember it precisely, but J.K. Rowling said something like, you know, she had felt so many things in her life, and she was so grateful that she had felt so many things because it finally brought her to a place where she hit rock bottom, and from that place of rock bottom, she could only look up. And that's when her life began for the very first
So
time.
true.
Yeah, and you know, so of course she went on to write Harry Potter, and she became one of the richest women in the world, one of the richest people in the world. So I think it's important to remember that just because things aren't going well for you, or they're not going as planned, that there's not a purpose behind that imperfection.
I have a question for you, Rob, personally, because both you and your sister have become these lifestyle happiness experts and can preach about that. Where did that come from?
So my mom is going to want you to marry me, wherever she's out there, and my dad. You know, it's interesting because my parents, I've got to be some of the most loving people in the entire world. I mean, really, and they had very different parenting styles, and it couldn't have been more perfect as I look back. Of course, when you're a kid, you can't recognize any of that. But my mom is full of all this wisdom, and she's full of it, of this wisdom, and she says it in ways that are very just sort of offhanded, and she doesn't really have to say it in a real long way. She just says a little saying here or there, and so I think it's come through a lot of adversity in their lives, because they've both, my dad and my mom, have been through a lot of adversity in their lives, and they just have this grittiness, and they have this faith that just is seeing them through. And I feel so deeply overwhelmed and blessed by that, because I see so many people in the world that don't have that. So, you know, so much of what has happened in my life, the good, I couldn't take credit for it, because it was just, I was a product of my circumstance, really, in so many ways.
Was there a moment that you really realized and recognized that for your life?
Yeah, I think as I began writing my Happiness from the Inside Out, as I was writing it and sort of reviewing my life, I thought, my goodness, it really is true. All this crazy stuff that all these spiritual teachers and poets and psychologists have been saying, like, you know, life can only be lived forward, but only understood backwards. So as I reviewed it, I was like, man, it's crazy how all of these perfect things came into alignment in a way that set me up perfectly for some other success or experience.
And did you talk to Angela about that?
Oh my gosh, we have the deepest conversations. I mean, honestly, and she's a night owl, so she can go like 3, 4 in the morning easy. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. She goes to like 3, 4 in the morning, wakes up at like 8, 9, goes to work. I mean, that's my mom.
She's the most positive person. When I've met her and she just comes in, she's like this big bubble of positive energy. You're like, wow, is she really like that?
There's like this light that just emanates from her.
I don't know where I guess she gets the energy mostly from my mom and my dad, but you two are very much like that as well. It's interesting because I'd love to hear your stories as well. You know, how did you get to a place where you are now that you are full of such faith and such optimism? I know part of your story, Erin, and a part of yours, Jessalyn, but I'd love to always hear more.
Well, we got the whole year ahead of us.
All right. You see that? I always want to go deep in the conversations. We'll
But so back to the goals for a moment, because I want to know out there, getting a pen and paper out, a lot of people sit down on today. They do everything from their goals, you know, from the money and health and finances, but also like social media planning. People plan out their social media for the year. Like, what can we do proactively for the year to have us be more present each day? Are you doing any of that kind of planning?
Yeah, I mean, I love that you bring this up. I think there's a couple of things that people can do right off the bat, super easy. So like, first thing is set the tone in the morning. Like set a precedent for your day, for your year. Don't pick up the phone right away. Do something else. Don't get on social media right away. Don't think that's a great place to start. Don't look up the news right away. You know, I also think that so I would start my day in a powerful way. It's one of the things that I'm doing. What about you, Jez? Anything?
Well, you know, that's so interesting that you mentioned that, because so many of our guests have mentioned the same thing, in that starting your day off right and having a positive affirmation. You know, Munif Ali, he said that with Think Rupture magazine. He said, you know, I wake up and I think I am abundant. I have enough to provide a life for myself and for my children. And this is the life they're going to lead. And so I've really tried to adapt that in my own life. I don't quite think straight. Even, you know, Ali, Lori Harder actually mentioned it, you know, that I am fitter, happier, healthier, wealthier today than I was yesterday. So I'm really trying to embrace that, and also write a few things down, because typically I like to keep my list in my head for several reasons. One, because if I put it on paper, it becomes more true. And two, I don't know, maybe because I'm a very private person, I keep it reserved. But you know, you had mentioned writing things down was so crucial to actually realizing them. So I challenged myself to write a few things down, and one of which was, you know, wake up earlier, say my affirmations, and really, to Erin's point, believe in a life of abundance for myself and make decisions not out of fear, especially when it's around my finances.
For sure. By the way, Angela says, thank you all so much. Such a gift and blessing to have a privilege of working with such an amazing group of people and the network. Thank you for the shout out. We love you. Big hug.
The value of live TV, absolutely.
Right. So knowing that, we have a few things, a few goals for the year. Of course, I mean, I have many, many things I'm always working on, but of course, health is always at the precedent for sure, because I realize that my life is just better when I meditate is number one for health. Physically, getting physical for sure. I realize that is, I mean, my life is day and night as far as how happy I am, how much energy I have. I can have, you know, more food and not be restricting myself as much. So I am officially going to be working with Amanda Russell, who we've had on the show. I actually interviewed her some time back on the Dr. Erin show, and she is a professor at UCLA. She also teaches influencing, and she has a very successful YouTube channel called Fit, Strong, and Sexy.
Yes.
And so we're going to show that interview today. A little interesting. Her journey is very, very interesting.
I'm so excited to be part of this challenge with you. We are going to take her month-long challenge to get fit, strong, and sexy. I'm a little nervous. If you haven't met Amanda before, she is one of the most gorgeous, fit, strong, and sexy women I have ever met.
Yeah.
So challenge accepted, Amanda.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of walk through that process. I don't even know what it's going to include. I can't really like even tell you exactly. I just know that I'm signing on the dotted line.
It's probably the best way to do it. Just before you know what's involved.
We're going to start our day out with a 30-minute workout, and then she's done all the work for us in creating a meal plan and strategy for breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner snack. I mean, she's really kind of made it as simple and foolproof as possible for us.
Great, that's what I need. So, so should we watch it now?
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth, bringing fun to the shift in LaLa Land. And I'm thrilled to have our guest today. She is a celebrity fitness expert. She has her MBA, and she's a huge influencer on YouTube. She has great videos. And the reason why I just am so excited for this conversation is because I really want to bridge spirituality and the fitness world together. I believe we truly are saying the same thing. And so thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
today.
having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So the intention and why I really wanted to bring you on here is because I know you have a great story. You have a really incredible story around basically going towards becoming an Olympian and having that entire dream kind of shift and going in a new direction. And I'd love to hear that. I want you to tell the audience about that. And I also want to know how you got successful, because I know people want to know. I want to know.
So for me, in a small town, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. And what were the things that were popular for kids? They were dancing, there was basketball. So I went out, my parents couldn't afford to put me in dance lessons because that was an expensive sport. And I got cut from the basketball team because I was too small. And I remember my dad saying, well, you were meant to run then, because running is free. And it doesn't take any coordination. It doesn't take size. You were meant, and so I think my dad's philosophy was he was always positive. And it doesn't, and to this day, it doesn't matter what you go to him with or what, there's always like this positive. And so I think that really resonated in my head, was, okay, so, well, there's a reason you can't do that, or there's a reason there's a roadblock for that. So now, instead of looking at the roadblock, look at what else is open. It's forcing you to do something else. So for me, that was running. And I learned the great thing about running is that a time is a time on a track anywhere in the world. So if you are a dancer, if you are a violinist, or all of these things are beautiful, but they're subjective, right? You have to be seen in order to be evaluated. Running, you don't have to be seen. A time is on a track anywhere. So once I found out about these things called athletic scholarships, I became, as anyone who knows me will know, I'm laser focused, almost obsessively focused. When I have my mind on a goal, it's like nothing else comes in the way, to almost obsessiveness. So my obsessiveness then became, okay, so what time do I have to run to get a full athletic scholarship? Division I, full athletic scholarship. Oh, and there also has to have the grades as well. So I became the running girl. Literally in my hometown, they still write articles about the running girl because I started running, there was no organized programming. It's not like the US where there's like, it's a big deal, sports. There was nothing organized. I started running before school, on my lunch hours, after school, in the middle of blizzards. I mean, I'm from 4 hours north of Toronto. It was a blizzard half the year. So I became the running girl. And I did run those times, and I was offered scholarships all over the U.S. My mom actually still has a scrapbook of all the different schools that were recruiting me, and so I was on a Division I scholarship, and I went down to Virginia, and I quickly started. It was a whole different world, a caliber of training, and I thought, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Because this is insane. I am not used to this. My body was breaking down. I was so tired. And I think there is when I learned that I did not come all this way to go home and to give up. But how do you get through it when it gets that tough? And it occurred to me in a hotel room one night in the middle of Indiana, and I had to race the next day, and I was under a lot of pressure, and I was scared. And I said to our captain, who had been through it for 4 years, and I said, how do you do this? The amount of pressure, and we're missing school, we're on a bus like 5 days a week. And she said, you have to either decide, you either have to pack up and go home, because you'll never get through it like this, or you have to shut that part of your brain that questions it. You have to shut it off. You have to become machine-like. If you're going to do it, you have to stop wavering. So when you get up in the morning, we've trained at 6 a.m., which in college is terrible. We train twice a day. And she's like, so when that alarm goes off at 5:30, it's not, oh, I'm going to get up. It's boom, just go.
Nice.
Just shut it off. And that, and everything else in my life became boom, just shut it off and go. And long story short, I ended up making automatic qualifying for Olympic trials while I was still in college. And 3 weeks before the Beijing Olympics, I broke my femur at the neck, which is where your leg meets your hips. And I was on bed rest. I was told I'd never run again or walk properly. And that for me was the worst thing and the best thing. At the time, I think you have to go through anything. You go through the motions of, it was an identity crisis. No one anybody that says that just get back up, I think it just feels inauthentic. It was I went through, within a matter of a week, I lost not only the ability to run, but I lost my career, my US visa, my sponsors, my team, my coach, the support of everyone I thought was my friends, because you go from being like the lead on stage almost, where everybody just caters to you and you are this racehorse, to being nobody, a failure. And I thought, oh my God, to have to go back to my hometown in Canada with a tail between my legs, not having achieved what I wanted, sounds worse.
Wow. I think a lot of people can relate to having something they thought they were setting out for, and then they switch and whatever. And so I love your story because of that. And I want to, and we actually have to take a break right now, but when we come back, what I want to know is how you made that transition. And I want to know how you're taking fitness, because you really are an influencer, helping people take spirituality in a sense of fitness. This is a daily spiritual practice for people. They are adamant about their workout, and how you're helping people take that into their lives and make a difference today, okay? So when we come back, we're going to be talking about that, how you can take fitness into your life and make that power decision so that you can get what you want out of your life. We'll be right back.
Lights, camera, action!
Dr. Erin here. We're back with Amanda Russell, hearing her incredible story about overcoming wanting to be an Olympian and having to shift after some trauma, after an accident, right? So my question is, you know, for people out there that are having to shift their minds, something's happened, you know, something's happened in their life. They didn't, you know, maybe haven't met the particular person that they want to meet, or maybe they haven't had the career they want. How do you overcome the mindset that it takes that is going to have you be that person that wakes up in the morning and says, I'm no longer going to listen to that negative voice in my head. I'm going to have that decision. I'm going to move forward. How did you take that? How did you take that quantum leap?
I think that's a great question. I think that what happens when we go through or we come to, we don't get what we want, is we focus on what we wanted that we didn't get versus focusing on, it's like focusing on the door that's shut versus when that door shuts, you have to look at all the other options. That maybe there's a reason, and I think there's this power in believing that there is a reason, as you know more than anyone, that there's a bigger universe out there. And it doesn't have to mean you have to believe in certain things, but I really believe that when one door shuts, there's others that open. When I went through my injury, it was like a death of a part of myself because my entire identity was that. And I think what I realized, and I think what so many people that go through like a turning point will think, is that their biggest failure actually strips you of all of your ego and allows you to be back on this playing ground where you can go after something that you wouldn't necessarily have gone after before because you had this ego about you. It almost allows you to then clean slate and be like, okay, what? For me, now, you know, running was all about me. It was all about my times, winning, breaking records, but it didn't touch anyone else. And now my career completely shifted. What I learned from that was that this is about so much more than exercise. You know what it's like to be at the top of your game. And that level of confidence is untouchable. And when that's stripped of you, you become a totally different person.
Great point. You know, we do teach that. We teach, as far as the universe goes, that what we focus on expands and what we don't. So I agree that if something happens and we don't get what we want, you know, we always get what we need, which is awakening to a greater version of ourselves. So I love that you've shifted that. And I know you influenced tons of people through YouTube, through being a professor at UCLA, through all kinds of things. And now I'm dying to know about your hashtag. I've looked and seen you have a hashtag that's 24-hour fitness, and you have a hashtag that's also 29029, is that?
29029.
Yeah, so tell us about that, because I know this is a very spiritual adventure, right?
Yeah, this is very cool. It's a personification of a lot of things. So I built my entire career off of collaboration. I really believe in that. I used to call it collaboration, which is really just this fancy word for now influencer marketing, which has become the curriculum that I've developed. And I believe that no one is self-made. And you, the more that you can partner with people or brands, organizations, your success becomes so much more exponential, and the power of what you can touch is just incredible. So one of these people, so a lot of this came from my time in New York. I used to, when I was trying to get back into fitness, I couldn't run, so I developed a lot of non-impact sports. Cycling, swimming were two of the big ones. And so I used to ride my bike in the park in the morning, 5 o'clock a.m., 5:30, and there was a small group of actually it was a men's team that used to train, and these guys were all really established in their own field, but mostly all former athletes as well. And there's a very strong correlation to, I hate to say it, to athletes and in business. One of them was the vice chairman of JP Morgan, and he actually verbally said many times that he's like, I get accused all the time of always hiring former college athletes, but there's a correlation here. And so I got to know these guys, and one of them, Jesse Itzler, incredible. He's known as the 100-Mile Man. He wrote the book Living with a Navy SEAL. He hired a Navy SEAL to live with him, like slept at his kitchen table sitting up while he's an entrepreneur, like serial entrepreneur. Some of the accolades, I mean, some of the companies to his name are, you know, incredible. His wife actually is an entrepreneur as well, and he's a big believer also in this idea of collaboration and the discipline and the commitment of what you go through physically in how that develops ideas and how it develops bonds and collaborations with other people. So his idea was, let me create something myself. And so he wanted to make something that was as physically hard as an Ironman, but mentally tougher. And that would also bring people together. It's like when people go to war, they bond. So this is something that it's almost impossible to actually train for all of us that were invited to this. So we're all going to have to sort of go through it together and see the ideas that come from it.
I love it. So basically, it's because what we teach is that spiritually we're meant to work together. We're meant to synergize. And what you're saying is that being an influencer, and you teach influencing, that's what you teach at UCLA. That's what your book is coming out about. It's all about influencers. And we know this is huge out there. Everyone wants to be an influencer.
It's a hot topic.
It's
super
a hot topic.
misunderstood.
Yes. And I completely agree that we have to collaborate, that it's, that's why we have interviews. That's why we synergize. That's why it's a network here.
This is influencer marketing right here.
Completely, 100%. And so tell us about the actual event that you're guys
So the
going to do.
actual event is, so he rented the mountain of Stratton in Vermont. And it is one of the steepest mountains in North America in the shortest period of time. So it's super athletically challenging in that it's not a long Everest type. It's like you gotta like suck wind and get up it. But we simulated Everest in that Everest is 29,029 feet. So we have to go up at 17 times.
Okay, got it.
And so we camp overnight and whatnot. And you have to go up at 17 times as fast as you can. And then part of it, there'll be venture capitalists there. They have a lot of, it's mostly luxury brands that are all sponsoring it. And they want to get involved in the ideas or whatever the people that were invited are working on. Whatever we're working on something or we have an idea about something, how can we support that? How can we make whatever you're doing bigger? How can we change the world? And like Steve Jobs said, it's the people that are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that actually do.
Completely.
And if there's any definition of that, and the people that he invited, I mean, this roster. So I work with 24 Hour Fitness. They're a partner of mine. And they have a new CEO who is another crazy Jesse Itzler type. He runs bikes and swims every morning before work at 4 a.m. And so I called him and was like, I'm going to do this. Do you want to be my teammate? And let's do this documentary. And I said, let's do this. And he said, let's do this as a documentary.
Oh, wow.
And
great.
Yes.
Yay. I'm so excited.
So we've been virtually training. So that's why we've been hashtagging, because 24 Hour is sort of putting the campaign together. But whether he's in, Dallas or he's right now traveling the country to every single location.
Great.
So we're doing that.
Great. So we've got to take another break, but I'm so excited because not only are we going to be doing a collaboration influencer event, but I want to watch every single thing. I think people should really watch you to see how people network, how they influence, how they come together with brands, how that works. And so you're so much more than a fitness expert. You're like this all-encompassing thing of this amazing, incredible dynamic woman. I really feel that. I really do. I think you have the ability to
coming from one herself.
Yeah. So when we come back, I want to ask you a few things. I want to get a little deep. I want to talk about eating disorders, because I think being fit in fitness, how do we deal with that? How do we become influencers that are positive, that are not promoting, a negative aspect of fitness? And I also want to get into the details of what you eat and how you work out every day, because I think people probably really want to know that. Okay, so stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back.
Lights, camera, action!
We're back with Amanda Russell, I'm so excited for your documentary coming out, but I want to get to the juicy stuff. I want to know the details that people probably are watching and saying, I want to know what does she eat and how much does she work out? I want to know the details about that first, and then I want to get into kind of a deeper conversation.
So I get that question a lot, and that's the beauty actually of the internet, is that the audience will tell you in real time what they want, and you can respond. So you build the audience first, and then you can then exactly know what it is that they want and listen to them. So those were two of the biggest questions. So I used YouTube to then build a website that has everything that. It has my entire workout program. It has short ones, long ones, nutrition plans, depending on what your goals are. I think it's very subjective. I don't think it's a one size fits all. You have to find out what works for you. And that's part of the program. The subscription model that we walk them into depends on which phase you're in. And we will, after you fill out a health history questionnaire, you then are put into the correct phase and based on your goals and your lifestyle. But then while you might come into it as, okay, I need to lose 15 pounds or I need to, tone up, what you end up realizing is you're getting an education on your body. And that is what athletes know. They know their body like a science, right? And so my goal is putting people through this, that by the time they get to phase 3 or 4, they're so self-sufficient that they know what works for them. So what works for me is not going to work for you, but the first phase is, okay, this is what I do. Now let's see where we start making the changes. I am not I'm not into juicing. I don't know if you've seen, I just recorded a video recently. I don't juice, I don't like kale. I sometimes I like birthday cake, I like to drink wine, and I think that's part of, and that's not for everybody, but that's part of life. To me, that's my balance. And I think there is a misconception about balance being rigidity.
Okay, great. So that's where I want to go. And at the end, don't worry, I'll make sure you get all the places to go to check out what she eats on a daily basis. But so speaking of that, cake and having some wine and whatever it is, right? So we have, according to, let's see, I think it's NADA, is that correct? I want to make sure, sorry, ANAD, I want to get that correct. There's 50 million people in America that have eating disorders. And so being a celebrity fitness expert, how do you, as an influencer, because some people would look at you and they'd say, oh, she looks like she has an eating disorder, she's pretty thin, right? So how do you deal with that from a spiritual space, saying, I don't want to influence somebody negatively? How do you take responsibility to make sure that you're coming from a mindful space, whatever?
You touched a chord. That's a really great question. I got into running as a little girl because I was always very, very tiny, almost like to the point where my mom, as a little girl, brought me to the doctor and was like, why won't this kid grow? But that ended up becoming my tool. I became a distance runner because of my body type. When I started doing YouTube videos, which is very different than running as a competitive athlete, I started getting, as fast as the channel was growing and the people the audience, maybe it was a car crash, but it grew so fast, so quickly, and they became so loyal and engaged the audience. But alongside that were all the hate comments. And I got diagnosed from people from all over the world anonymously. Anorexia, bulimia, this girl should not be talking about health and fitness, she's clearly anorexic, she has a disease. And it was, I remember almost shutting down over it. And then I decided, I was like, I don't even want to I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want this kind of feedback. And I stopped. I stopped for a little while, which was probably the worst thing I could have done, because it allows them to win. And so then I decided, why would I do that? I need to own this. And so I actually did a video called Why Are You So Skinny? And that's how I came back. And the point, though, is not whether or not. So for me, that was my tool, was that I was small. But even if somebody does have a problem, everybody has their thing, right? And there's no hierarchy of struggle. So you never know what's going on with somebody. So to accuse them in these hate comments and to judge people based on what they look like. There are fitness people out there that get accused of, why are you talking about fitness? You're clearly too soft. We don't want to look like you're too big for that. Your fitness program is not working. So I think there needs to be, it comes from the head and the mind, not the aesthetic.
For me, I struggled with bulimia from the time I was 17 to 20, and it was a living hell.
It is.
And I never dealt with anorexia, so I never was one of those people that worked out fanatically or anything like that. So for me, actually working out helps me. It is like a daily spiritual practice in that it makes, like, it regulates a lot of the hormones and energy, and so then I can eat a little bit more without, freaking out or whatever it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line. It's interesting you say that, because there's a fine line, because exercise is becomes a form of bulimia for a lot of anorexics. And I think the at the root of it, it's a head thing. So we need to project that while we might come to fitness or come to nutrition for an aesthetic reason, if you are, and this is what we try to do, is teaching people that this is about so much more than exercise. This is about so much more than what you look like or those skinny jeans you fit into. This is about how you feel. And that
I couldn't agree more.
Right, this positive rippling effect on every aspect of your life.
Completely. And, a lot of spiritual people, they don't focus on some physical, and I believe it needs to be all three. And I love yoga's been a great spiritual practice, because I believe the body has to hold the energy. It has to, if you're doing a lot of spiritual work, you've got to be able to, maintain a lot of energy flowing through your body. And if you don't deal with the body, it doesn't end well.
Yes.
Yeah. So on that note, I want to, because we only have like a couple more minutes, and I want to just first of all just acknowledge that you're having an influence in many ways, and especially the influencing way, because I believe that is really the future, and I believe that spiritually we're all supposed to collaborate. And so thank goodness for social media, for having it demand us to come together, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And I think that what you said about social media is an important point, because it gets a lot of flack for being negative body image, negative self-image. It's not the technology that's negative. It's we are humans. We're the ones in charge of it. We need to narrate that conversation. We need to be in front of it. And I think there needs to be a shift. And I think people like you that have these shows that are out in the media, we have the power to change that and to steer that. And we can make that a movement.
Completely. I can completely agree. So how can they find you to watch the 24-hour fitness 29029, and then how do they find you online for your programs and for all that good stuff?
Great. So if you look at hashtag 29029, and you can on Instagram or Facebook, you'll find that. And then fitness plans is called the website is called fitstrongandsexy.com. My YouTube channel is just my name. If you want to learn about influence and the book that I'm writing, I'm actually co-writing it with another professor at USC. It's called theinfluencercode.com. And the curriculum is there. We're developing we're actually taking the curriculum from UCLA we developed and putting it as I should say, that's what I'm working on right now, is creating that as an online platform. Well, there won't just be influencer marketing, but there'll be other courses as well as we build it out.
Great. So looking forward to it. And just thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know that there's an influencer in you. I know that there's the perfect daily spiritual practice of fitness that fits your life to live your greatest life. So on that note, live your truth. Have a great day, you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Erin, for having me.
Thank you. Live from Los Angeles, we're back with Good Morning LaLa Land. Amanda Russell.
Love
Right?
the interview. Yeah, absolutely.
She's an amazing, dynamic woman. And before we do any more, I got to say, hello. Today's the first day of marijuana.
Oh my gosh, people are going nuts.
Everywhere.
Recreational, right?
I'm
So
ready to
legalized.
smoke a doobie this morning. No,
Me
just kidding.
too.
I'm totally
I don't
joking.
see you doing
No.
that, Erin.
It's like my worst nightmare. Like, I hate being tired, so I wouldn't be a big pot smoker, even if it's like right here all the time,
It's so funny you say you're such a worker, and I totally get it too. Like my worst, I don't like being tired. Like if I have nothing going on, it's fine.
Yeah.
But generally, I always have something going on. So yeah, I'm not. If
I'm
I
a
was
work-
into
I'm a
drugs,
workaholic, so I never have anything, nothing going on.
Totally. But I did see the news item on the recreational drug use being legalized in California, and what's interesting is I think you can only buy like 1 ounce. Or is it? I think it's 1 ounce. You can't. There's a limit on it anyway. But
Okay.
we'll be buying apparently 0. Right? Yeah.
We can buy 1 ounce every hour, or like,
A
what
day.
does that mean?
Sorry, per day.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
what it
there's
is?
like a limit on it. Yeah.
So I hear that we're going to have like banners across like many parts of LA of all the advertisers for. I'm sure it's going to be, and it's going to be a incredible year to watch,
Oh my
right?
gosh, totally. Yeah.
So I think that we've got some messages off of Facebook and stuff like that around people asking what our routines around our diet and our exercise, what they normally look like. And I know Jez gets, of course, a lot of questions about that. So what is your routine? How, like, how many hours do you work out? What do you eat? What are your meals like?
Yeah, it's a great question. So for me, I try to get up early. I like to work out first thing in the morning, no matter what. I will do that no matter what. Like today, the gym I normally go to doesn't open till later, so I had to find another gym. I went to Gold's Gym in Venice at like 4.
Slumming it.
Slumming it. Yeah, right. Yeah. I love that gym. But yeah, so I usually do that. I have a protein shake before, a protein shake after. I have amino acids while I work out.
Oh, wow.
And then throughout the day, I try to eat, I pretty much eat all day, to be honest with you. I eat a pretty protein-rich diet. And then I'll have a cheat little dessert here and there.
Little cheat.
Yeah, but I don't go crazy. What about you? What's your exercise?
I think most people know I was bulimic from the time I was 17 to 20. So I had to learn how to have a good relationship with food. And so I'm not a neurotic person by any means, but what works for me is this. I eat every 2 to 3 hours. I eat a well-balanced diet, and I try and eat more proteins. I have a hard time getting in. I'm a carb girl. So I'm always like minimizing the carbs, trying to get more greens and protein in. And I eat every 2 to 3 hours, and I try and eat between 200 and 400 calories.
Wow.
That's kind of like my go-to. So like the zone diet works really well for me, where I have some protein, some carbohydrates, and some greens.
So what do you do in order to like cut back on the carbs? Because I know I love carbs too.
Yeah.
And it took me a little bit of sort of, I guess, just creating a habit there. So it was a lot of, I want to say it was a lot of discipline at the beginning, but I guess I just mostly focused on eating more protein before I'd eat the carbs, and I usually wasn't hungry enough to want to continue eating carbs. But what do you do to not eat a ton of carbs?
Oh, this is what I do. I know specifically what I do. At meals, I generally don't eat my carbs as much. I actually I save them for like that splurge meal in the day, where I can have like some toast or something that's more carby. Or I eat oatmeal a lot in the morning, which is carbs.
Good for you. So that's how you get to look like
Yeah,
Dr.
right?
Erin.
No, but
Amazing.
actually what happened was when I was going through bulimia, my sister was she was gaining weight. So she went to Weight Watchers, and it was actually a great program. I've never done Weight Watchers personally, but she taught me how to go, okay, you need X amount of greens, X amount of carbs, X amount of protein. And so when I'm feeling off, I generally don't count my calories, but if I'm feeling like, okay, I really need to hone it in, I'll actually I have a little thing, I'll put it on the refrigerator, and I put little boxes for each thing. And so I check them off, like how many proteins, how many carbs, and I make sure, because then I'll want more carbs, and instead I'm like, oh, I need to have a fruit. Oh yeah, and I grab for the fruit and stuff.
Wow, you were so good about that. The structure, seriously, the structure that you created in your life, but particularly your diet and nutrition, that's mind-blowing to me. I mostly just look at it and say, oh, I guess that's enough.
No, honestly, I like to have 1 sweet a day.
Yeah.
So my balance is, if I'm physical, then I don't feel guilty about the sweet. But if I'm finding myself not being physical, then I notice my body is like, oh, get those sweets out of my life,
really.
right?
Did you ever go through a period where you were overweight? When you became bulimic, what was happening before?
Actually, I'd never been overweight. Actually, bulimia caused me to be more overweight because you stretch your stomach out through your binging. And so I've been the same way. My son's 22, and I literally have been within 5 pounds for 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, 22 years.
Wow. And has there been a period of time where you've sort of felt yourself sliding, even though you weren't out of
Honestly, I noticed that when I'm not happy in my life, I tend to want more food.
Stress eating,
so I know that when I'm hungry and when I'm starting to kind of eat more than I know my body needs, I always can relate it to that I'm not being fulfilled on a love level. I'm not being fulfilled in just my peace of mind, and that always transcends into my diet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself doing the opposite too, that when you're celebrating you eat a lot, or not really?
No, I'm the opposite.
Only stress eaters.
I'm actually the opposite. When I'm out and enjoying myself with friends, I have less of an appetite than when I'm alone.
Wow, that's incredible. I totally have a very similar experience. I mean, I just eat all day anyway.
Right.
But I've noticed if I'm especially anxious, you sort of reach for something, or if you're not particularly
Right.
happy, you reach for the comfort food.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're at the very top of the second hour, and we've been here for 2 hours, you guys, and you're probably Like, where did Jessamine
Where's
go,
Jessamine? We
right?
love Jessamine.
Where in the world is
Yes.
Jessamine? So I think she's
Missing.
out. She's gone out on the streets of Los Angeles. And so we're going to shout out to her, see where she's at. Where are you, Jessamine? We want to see you.
Good morning, Los Angeles. It is New Year's Day, and I am in the streets of West Hollywood celebrating with the community of LA. So one of the most stereotypical questions in LA is, what's your name and what do you do?
Sergio, I'm a software engineer.
A software engineer.
I am, yeah.
Well, Happy New Year. So we want to know, looking back, what was your favorite film or television show?
Favorite film or TV show? I like Narcos this year, this season. I thought it was a little fun. Yeah, a little dark, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah, it was a little dark, but it was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Stranger Things too. Stranger Things
Oh,
was awesome.
I can get behind that one. I love
Okay.
Stranger Things. So have you seen or heard of Good Morning LaLa Land?
I have, and you guys do an amazing job. You, Erin, Rob, you guys have like really good chemistry with each other. You're very comfortable with the camera. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. It's a show about LA that really wants to celebrate the community, so it's so great to connect with you on that. We're talking New Year's resolutions today. Do you have a personal goal?
I don't usually have resolutions for the year, but I have to say, this year I would like to spend some more time with my family and grow financially, spiritually, spend more time with my friends. And, I usually, every year I try to incorporate new things in my life or start new things. So
Is yoga a new thing? Because you're walking down Beverly Boulevard with a yoga mat right now.
well, I've been doing it for a couple of years now, but I'm in love with it. My heart is, my heart has yoga in it.
What do you love about yoga?
Well, this type of yoga that I do, it's called Kundalini. It's a highly spiritual modality of yoga, and it opens you up to things that you never seen or ever felt before. So it has become a part of my life.
Well, and what a perfect way to kick off 2018, resetting the mind, the body, and the spirit. We're really excited. Thank you for being a part of the Good Morning LaLa Land community. We really appreciate that. We'll go to break and we'll come back right after this.
LaLa Land, I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessamine Yates. Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles.
America's first live streaming daily talk show.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And we have a sexy show for you today.
We have got Will, Leanne, and Gabe in the house. Let's go back there. Hi!
Talked to 4 beautiful, intelligent, conscious women. Clearly, I was miserable the entire time.
She has a TV show similar to your guys.
Ellen.
Yes!
Yes!
The little peck. Come on.
I feel so bad for Jess.
We're live too, for the people viewing.
For the people.
Wow!
MICKEYMOUSC Club Mickey Mouse on Good Morning LaLa Land.
We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy holidays.
It's going to be a good
morning, LaLa Land.
5, 6, 7, 8. We are the Mouseketeers, and we proudly wear our ears. We mousin', we mousin', MICKEYMOUSC Club Mickey Mouse. Good morning, LaLa Land.
live from Los Angeles, California. Good morning, LaLa Land. We've been here for 2 hours, over 2 hours, and it's been an epic day celebrating the New Year's with you. And what a show, you guys.
Oof, that's a lot, this show. Yeah, that's a lot. Yes.
We're getting ready for 218. It's going to be a big one.
218.
It's all about yes. We said yes to the universe today, right?
We did. We said yes to this 2-hour show. We said yes to the universe. We said yes to lots of good guests as well.
Absolutely. We toasted with Blum Beverages, fantastic new non-alcoholic beverage from Candice Coleman at Blum Beverages. Had a great PR talk with Melinda Manos, the woman behind Manos PR, which is an incredible lifestyle, entertainment, and pop culture PR company. We're really excited to have her a part of the Good Morning LaLa Land community. And how fun was that to be on the street with Sergio?
And we had Amanda Russell's interview as well.
Yes,
Incredible.
Yes, we're going to get fit, strong, and sexy with Amanda. I'm so excited to be on that journey with you, Erin. It's going to be incredible. You know, this is a show about LA, for LA. We've been streaming live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And this was an epic 2-hour journey.
Oh my gosh, we talked about everything. Goals, marijuana.
It's all
about
January 1st.
It's all about balance, absolutely. Yeah.
And we've got a great year to look forward to and an incredible week. We've got some really great guests who are model actresses and philanthropists. Dustin, the co-founders of Hero, which are changing the name in the Instagram and monetizing business, and even a Bachelor in Paradise on Friday.
That's right. So this show is all about empowering the shift that happens within all of us, and all the women with incredible epic year ahead of us of fulfilling dreams and living your dream life, right?
Oh,
Thriving.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thriving.
All about inspiration, healthier, wealthier, happier. Absolutely.
Right? So join us every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to dive deep into living the best life, starting our day right here with this amazing family at Focus TV in Los Angeles. And it's going to be a good day in Los Angeles, you guys.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.